World Travel Radio, in association with Breaking Travel News, brought to you by the World Travel Group.
Hello, I'm Phil Blizzard here on World Travel Radio, and wherever you might be listening, I'd like to wish you a very good day, and this is our second programme of 2014. We're going to be looking at Patina Hotels and Resorts, a new luxury hotel group for Asia, with their flagship hotel set to open in the island state of Singapore later this year. And staying with islands, how about the Seychelles in the heart of the Indian Ocean? A delightful tropical paradise, and one which is seeing steady, controlled tourism growth, as I discovered whilst talking to their Minister of Tourism. But first we start with another uber-rich, uber-luxury holiday, following on from the last programme's Billionaire Lifestyle Tour, and this time we'll be featuring a world tour by private jet. So stay with us for that.
World Travel Radio.
Well, if you have a staggering $1.5 million to spend on your next holiday, you might well like to consider Abercrombie Kent's Passport to the World. A 14-day private jet tour on a chartered Challenger 605 private jet, taking you from Paris to India, China and Hong Kong, to name just a few countries on this global tour. Along the way, you'll enjoy many VIP activities, such as a tour of 2 halls of China's Forbidden City, halls which are normally closed to the public. On offer, there's a traditional Japanese kaiseki banquet, which is a traditional multi-course Japanese dinner. That'll be in Kyoto. And how about popping to Paris for an after-hours visit to the Louvre? Through the tour, a dedicated flight crew will cater to your every whim. The Passport to the World Tour, priced at a whopping $1.5 million, does allow you to bring along 7 guests. So on the basis of that, the holiday is going to cost a mere $200,000 per person. And from that high-flying tour, we come back down to earth for the rest of the programme, when we'll be looking at a new luxury hotel chain in Singapore. But up next is the heart of the Indian Ocean, and a chat with a person responsible for driving tourism to the Seychelles. I'm Phil Blizzard with World Travel Radio.
World Travel Radio.
And now, here on World Travel Radio, I'm joined by Alain St. Ange, Minister for Tourism and Culture, the Republic of Seychelles. So, Alain, let's start with ITB in Berlin. What was your key message at this very important trade show?
Well, if I can start by saying ITB 2014 was a total success for Seychelles. Total success because we went there knowing full well that we were growing in double-digit figures from Germany. So we needed to consolidate our approach for the German market, and also look at our partners coming out of Europe as itself to see why we were not performing as good in some areas and what we could do to increase that growth. So the message was Seychelles is there, Seychelles remains serious, Seychelles remains a tour operator destination, and Seychelles today is accessible as never before.
A few things to talk about. You have a tourism master plan, but before that, let's reflect back on last year in terms of visitor arrivals to the Seychelles. What sort of growth did you get?
We got an 11% growth last year. And I often tell people, we're not in a numbers game. We don't look for numbers. This is why we don't have charters to Seychelles. Yeah. We are looking at a progressive growth, but a growth that helps the economy of the country. Seychelles depends on tourism. It remains the pillar of our economy. So we need to ensure that our growth is well calculated and that we pan it out, that we get growth from every destination. We are just being intelligent in our approach. If there was an economic difficulty in one region, we want to be able to survive it, because without tourism, our people will suffer.
So 11% growth last year, you say, across the different countries. But was there any particular region which you had a higher growth than others?
Totally. Germany was one, which is why we went to ITB in full force this year. Germany grew extremely well. China, obviously. China is taking a leap forward like we've never expected. Russia. The Middle East itself, there Dubai and Abu Dhabi, is showing increased numbers that are definitely worth it for us. And then Africa.
Okay, I want to ask you about the Middle East, because recent developments in terms of carriers from that region into the Seychelles has been enhanced with Etihad, the Abu Dhabi-based carrier, taking a share in your national airline, 40%. What's been the impact of that?
Well, I think firstly they solidified Air Seychelles. They made Air Seychelles an airline, not just a carrier that was there that we had, but today it is a proper airline that declares a dividend, that makes profit. But more so, being in partnership, it opened Air Seychelles and the roots of Air Seychelles to the world. Air Seychelles now appears. I was in Germany itself, in Berlin, and you could see buses passing with Seychelles in there as a partner of Etihad. So the name Seychelles is today a bit everywhere. And I am sure that it has helped us to become more visible because of the might of Etihad. It has helped us to become, when you become visible, you become relevant. Today we are more relevant than before. And it has positioned us as a destination of choice.
So
today you can pull from the whole of Germany into Abu Dhabi.
Sure.
And this in itself is an asset that we have.
Okay, well, moving from the perspective of ITB in Berlin to something you mentioned about the tourism master plan, which was looked at a couple of years ago, what are the key elements of that?
I think the tourism master plan was planning to ensure that Seychelles tourism is consolidated. We know it is the pillar of the economy. We know it is so vital for us, and we're not allowed to make mistakes. So we had to use a master plan that was grown from the bottom up, that took the points of view of people involved in the economy, but also the layman who depends in one way or another through fishing or gardening or artisans, so that they also benefit from it. We've done this and we are happy with the plan.
That seems like a unique approach, as you say, starting from the bottom up.
And that was the instruction the President of the Republic gave. He says, do not sit in the office yourselves and coin something that you want.
Get out there.
Get out and meet the people.
Yeah.
But we know we're going to have to adapt it in the next 2 years, come up with the points of today. And now that I have culture as well, and we are using culture a lot in our base of marketing, we now need to focus how better use of culture we can do.
Okay, well, we'll finish off this bit really because we started off by looking at your figures for last year, 11% growth. You're going for steady growth. What are you predicting for 2014?
Well, this year we will have 5% up over last year. And I believe sincerely that we will beat it. All the indications are quite clear. We're now 6% up over last year already. And the indications are, even though the times are different, our main markets are suffering economically, but the diversification that we put into place, diversification of markets, is showing that we've done the right thing at the right time, and not only giving glossy brochures out, but playing people. Putting people who speak with their heart and with their feelings is working for Seychelles.
Alain St. Ange, Minister for Tourism and Culture in the Republic of the Seychelles. And in our next edition of World Travel Radio, we'll be taking a look at their annual carnival, which attracts participants from all over the world. But now we're off to Singapore to look at a new luxury hotel brand, Patina Hotels and Resorts.
World Travel Radio.
And now a new luxury hotel venture in Singapore as we find out more from Marc Dardenne, CEO of Patina Hotels and Resorts. And I asked him if there is room for another luxury brand in this island state.
I think, number one, Singapore is a very competitive market. When we looked at the offering, we wanted to be different. We tried to position the hotel clearly in the luxury segment and try to create a luxury lifestyle proposition. So I always feel that some of the traditional operators, like the Ritz-Carlton and Four Seasons and Regis, are a little bit on the conservative side, and the lifestyle, so-called lifestyle hotels like the W's, are a little bit too much on the lifestyle side. So really, we want to position ourselves in that white space, and we definitely feel there is a market for it.
Looking at hotel development in Singapore, a recent report from CBRE shows that room numbers are likely to increase by 20% by 2016. So
correct.
It looks like there's significant room for development there.
I think so. And we are in such a fantastic location. It's part of a mixed use, 157 keys, so very manageable. Walking distance from the business district, but also walking distance from the leisure attractions. The new art museum in Singapore, which is called the New Louvre of the Far East, is opening in right at the same time when we are going to open. So I think with that location on part of a mixed use with some really interesting retail and a theatre that seats 800, there's a lot of history in Singapore. We feel that combination will be a real success.
What else do you think you'll be able to add to the hotel scene in Singapore?
I think we're introducing some new service concept. One is called a 360-degree concierge, where every employee is a concierge, so every employee is a host. And this is something new that has not been launched anywhere, really. And we're very proud of the concept. So that would be one. The 24-hour stay program that I had introduced with the address also will be introduced in Singapore, which is the first. Really in our lobby we don't have a front desk. Everybody gets whisked to their room or out of the room, and I think the F&B offering will be very interesting. Also, we're bringing a Peruvian Japanese concept into Singapore, which again is a first. So many firsts, and our proposition is that every angle will be something new, something interesting. We want people to experience and really obviously come back and recommend the hotel.
What is the philosophy of Patina Hotels then?
So the philosophy is really number one from a product point of view. I always say that architecturally and from an interior design point of view, it has to be significant. So meaning working with great consultant. In the case of Singapore, it is a conservation building, over 100 years old. In terms of interior design, we're working for the rooms with Ibrahim Jaya, who has done a lot of Aman hotels, GHM hotels. In terms of the restaurant, we're working with Avrocco, a company out of New York. So great consultants. I think that's one key component. The second component is really the art aspect. That's where the name comes from, Patina. It's obviously the beautiful shine that develops over a piece of furniture or an art piece over time. We really feel that we are building an artwork that will gradually become better and better over time. So that art aspect is key for us also.
Got it right. Art is very important to the family behind the hotel group, because they're avid art collectors themselves, I believe.
Yes, when you look at the Ritz-Carlton, which is one of the hotels that we own, over 4,000 originals in that hotel. It's a museum, and all the hotels have a strong art component in them, and Patina will be the same thing.
Well, you're no stranger. You've got a huge heritage of hospitality behind you, and no stranger to opening up new hotel brands. So you've mentioned Dubai a few times, because in Dubai you opened up introduced the address brand for the Emaar Group, or you involved with the opening of the Armani at Burj Khalifa. So, you're looking pretty relaxed, considering you've got a major venture opening in a matter of 8, 9, 10 months, I suppose.
Anything is about planning. Having it done before helps, planning, and great people. And we're putting together a team of outstanding individuals. Some of them I've worked with, all with great backgrounds. And it's all the question about having the right team, putting the right strategy in place, the right vision. We started working on our culture, and we have a backing of the Kui family, who have been in the luxury business kind of all their lives, truly understand what a luxury hotel is all about, the importance of people, human capital. It's kind of this perfect storm, in my opinion. And, I'm relaxed maybe from the outside, but very intense from the very intense from the inside, and very relaxed from the outside.
Moving from Singapore, how do you see the group evolving around the globe? Are you going to be focusing purely on Asia, or?
For the time being, we looked at Southeast Asia, and really we have some interesting projects. One is in Bangkok on the river. It's 80 suites with a residential component and a signature restaurant and bar. We have Phuket, a very interesting concept of a combination of tree houses on tented luxury tents, which again is something new. We have an island in the Maldives that we are developing, which has the two best surf waves in the Maldives. We're looking at a development in Bali in the rice fields, and one on the beach, and then something in Jakarta. And we're looking also at China, both Shanghai and Beijing, which is our first target. And really, we want to establish the group first in Southeast Asia, but obviously the Middle East would be clearly an area that it's close to my heart, and I think would be perfect for Patina.
So for what you're saying,
the second run.
What you're saying now, some very interesting locations to go with what's going to be a luxury product, from, as you say, rice fields to surfing beaches. So.
Yeah. So it's all about lifestyle, It's really makes unique experiences, lifestyle. That's what we're looking at. We're not a cookie cutter hotel company, so every hotel will be special. Every hotel will have a strong sense of place, and clearly our motto is really distinct memories, one guest at a time.
Yeah, okay. And the time frame for your developments beyond Singapore, what's your aim, what's your targets?
Targets are basically in the next couple of years, 2-3 years, we will have 5-6 properties up and running.
Ambitious plans indeed. Marc Dardenne talking to us here on World Travel Radio. He is CEO of Patina Hotels and Resorts. I'm Phil Blizzard and you're listening to World Travel Radio. So until the next edition, wherever you are, we wish you safe travels.
World Travel Radio, in association with breaking travel news, brought to you by the World Travel Group.